Back to another episode of What Were You Thinking, streamed on fanfest.io, sponsored by World's Greatest. What Were You Thinking is a podcast slash internet TV show that brings some of the best athletes in the world together. That started during the 2020 Olympics, and then we brought it over to the 2022 Winter Games. And now we're kind of getting into a 2022 track season that's kind of kicking off. So we've had mostly track athletes and those guys current that just performed. And today's guest, we have a special guest, somebody I've known for a long time, Robert Grant, a 400-meter hurdler from Italy. Also ran at the University of Texas A&M. And also went to high school with. So we're going to bring Bobby, is what I call him, but his name is Robert Grant. We're going to bring Bobby on in a second. Just getting prepped for myself to update everybody that hasn't seen the show or seen me in a while. I've been back and forth between Philly and Annapolis, where I trained for track, and Philly, obviously, where the Eagles are practicing. I've been there for OTAs on and off the last few weeks. And now we're about 2.5 weeks out from U.S. champs, and getting ready for that. I got to meet this weekend on Sunday, the 12th in New York. And then I go off to the Diamond Leagues in Oslo and Paris coming up on the 16th and 18th. So yeah, my season has slowed down a bit in terms of track. I haven't competed since the Jacksonville American Track League. And now I am getting ready for kind of like the last few meets of the year leading up to U.S. champs, because we're not going to have very many opportunities to compete post U.S. champs before world champs that are mid-July. So that's what's been going on with me for the most part. A lot of cool things in the works. A lot of cool things that the World's Greatest has been doing behind the scenes. We got producer Bob here in the background. He's here, but he's just not on camera today because it's going to be a me and Bobby show. And so he's got a lot of cool stuff, some things with me, a lot of great content with other athletes, and a lot of things coming up, around U.S. champs and world champs as well. So be on the lookout for that. If you want to take a look at some of that content, it's just the World's Greatest on YouTube, youtube.com/World's Greatest. It's the World's Greatest team on Instagram. On Twitter, it's World's Greatest without the vowels, which is World's Greatest, WRLDSGRTST. So check it out. I think we're going to have Bobby on here in a sec. Whenever Bob can get him on, and I'm going to text. I'm going to make sure Bobby knows he's ready to go. So, but yeah, no, things have been good. We've had a lot of guests. This show is cool too because we can bring a lot of different guests on that can host the show. It just doesn't need to be me. It can be, we have Jessica Beard and Brandon Miller. And those are some of the athletes that have been consistently on the show. Bobby just texted me. He said it's Texas A&M University, not University of Texas A&M. Hey, you got to give me a break. I didn't go to school there. But you have a lot of pride. Well, I'm sure we'll talk about that, about the Texas A&M pride and all that. But yeah, this show is very cool because, pretty much any athlete can host it. It's just been, me more consistently because me and Mike Furman, one of the videographers, producers, super fan of sports, started the show during the Winter Olympics. And so we went, I think, all nights straight, 18 nights straight during the Winter Games. Had a lot of great athletes, had a lot of great coaches from the winter sports, a lot of coaches in even summer sports. And then we also have kind of been doing this consistently every week since then. So, I'd argue we have probably over 50 episodes now, maybe 60, and usually get upwards of 50 to 100K viewers per episode. Right now it's live, but you can go back and rewatch the episodes on fanfest.io. And I think we also have some of this content or some of the clips on YouTube as well. So hopefully we can get Bobby in here here soon. See if Bob is working on that. But yeah, if you're tuned in, welcome. Thanks for being here. And hopefully me and Bobby can talk a little bit of track and field, talk a little bit of golf. We have competed against each other for a long time in a plethora of sports. So it'll be fun to get his viewpoint and what it's like to compete with me and against me and all that stuff. So this will be some good insight for sure. Bobby, if you're there, if you're watching, raise your hand, hit the little hand icon. The little hand icon on the right bottom of the screen, and we'll get you in. Sorry. See, this is what happens. See, Bob usually takes over with the guests and gets them all set up and ready to go. But when I send the links and stuff like that, we mess it up. So Bobby, what's up?
What up, Devon?
How you doing?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm doing well. Just hanging out. My area code / part of the world is much darker than yours. Where are you calling in from right now?
Dallas. It's 8 o'clock here, but it stays pretty bright here till like almost 9 o'clock, which is crazy.
Okay, great. So everybody that's tuning in, this is Bobby Grant, aka OG Bobby Grant, aka OG, aka Booby, if you went to high school with us. But yeah, so Bobby's a 400-meter hurdler that went to Texas A&M, and you guys won a national championship while you're there, right?
Yeah. So
give a little insight of your track career, and then we like to do a little segment. And after you do that, we'll get into that segment. Go ahead.
All right. So for those, Devon kind of gave a little tidbit into it, but we went to high school together. I actually started running track mostly actually because Devon was like trying to get me into it. I started hurdling because Devon was talking trash to me about not being able to hurdle. And so I decided to run the hurdles one week at Chandler Rotary. And then I ran the number one time for a sophomore in the U.S. But he didn't tell me that until like a month after the race because he didn't want to blow my ego up because sometimes I'm a little cocky. So he was trying to keep me humble. But yeah, so that's how my track career started. And I went on to the University of Miami after high school. Unfortunately, it didn't work out there. I wanted a little bit of a change. I wanted to be on a team that was going to win a national championship. And not to say that Miami won't ever do that, but with scholarships and things like that, it's hard with a private school to put that type of financial team together because you have to give a full ride. It's like $75,000 to go to school there. So I transferred to A&M and kind of built a little legacy there that I'm really proud of. Was able to run with some awesome athletes while I was there, like Fred Curley. We were teammates. Donovan Brazier. I have some fun stories about Donovan. And had a really good time there. I finished 11th time, first team All-American, and was on a national championship team in 2017 where we beat Florida on the last event, which was the 4x4. And it was actually at Texas A&M too, so that was awesome. And then was a part of some really nice 4x400 meter teams as well. And then obviously did the hurdles too. So that's kind of a little background on my collegiate career. And then since then I've been running for Italy and Diodora as well. And yeah.
Okay. So yeah, so that's pretty much the segment. It's called, tell me about yourself in 60 seconds. So the basic gist, Bobby and I met each other when he was a freshman at Brophy College Prep, where I went to high school. I was a sophomore there. I'm 1 year older than Bobby. We both were just sprinters at the time. 100, 200, 400, right? Is that correct?
I didn't run the 400 really. You ran the 400.
Well, yeah, I ran the 4, but you ended up running the 4 eventually. So, we were both 400 meter sprinters, short sprinters. Got to Brophy. I actually remember when Bobby got there, meeting him, I think, over the summer, and also talking to your dad. Your dad's a great guy, and he was super confident and just telling me all about his son, that's coming, like, hey, this kid's going to be really good for the track team. So, me, I had to do a little bit of research and check in on Bobby and saw his times coming in, which were very solid. I think it was like 11 low, like close to 11 flat, maybe like 11.2 or 11.1 coming into high school, which is great. So that was cool. And then we're pretty much training partners together. We're the only two kids. We had some good athletes, but we're the only two kids that could really run with each other. So, it really turned to the Devon and Bobby go chase everybody else in practice, which is really funny. You remember those workouts? So one of our staple workouts was 3x350. And Bobby can tell you about these. And Coach O'Neill gave us those workouts, and sometimes Bill Kalkman was there to kind of administer them. So he put everybody into groups, and we went to an all-boys private school, and we probably had, 40 sprinters?
Yeah.
30, yeah. At least 30, 40 sprinters, which is a lot.
Well, once you got there, and then it was like Devon started doing big things, everybody wanted to be a sprinter then at that point because they were like, oh, it's so cool. But I think by the time you were a senior and I was a junior, we had like at least like 60 kids.
We had a lot of kids.
Yeah.
So we had a lot of kids. We probably had 30, 40 kids at least doing the workouts. And Coach Kalkman would put us in like, A group, B group, C group. And it was pretty much like the A group was like the guys that would be maybe our best sprinters in each event, and then everybody on the 4x4. So it was about like six guys. So Coach Kalkman would send all 6 of those guys first, and then he would send me and Bobby chasing after him like 5 or 6 seconds after.
Yeah.
And so it was always, it seemed, and that worked out pretty well because, me and Bobby got after it. We ran, to be honest, like as a high school kid, we ran some crazy workouts and like some crazy fast stuff. I'd have to look at my training logs from way back then. Tim had us write our times down, but I'm sure we probably ran all those 350s in like close to 40 seconds, maybe 41, 42 seconds, which is pretty good.
I don't know if I'd be the athlete, like the track athlete I am, if you weren't at Brophy, because when we did those workouts, like for everyone that doesn't know, basically like imagine you're standing like right next to the Empire State Building, the shadow that would cast on that. That's essentially what I had to deal with for 3 years at Brophy. It was like Devon Allen. So I just wanted to beat him so bad. Like I think my sophomore year, we had to like say what our goals were for the year. Like everyone was like, oh, I want to make state or I want to run a PR. And I was like, I want to beat Devon. Or I said, I'm going to beat Devon. And so that was like my whole drive in high school. I was like, I'm going to beat him eventually. It never happened. I almost had it at state in the 300 hurdles.
I actually have that video up too. So
I almost had it at state in 300 hurdles. I stuttered over the last hurdle and it got me. But we had a great time. Those workouts were awesome. Like we were running 350s in like 42 seconds in high school, which is really fast for a high schooler. Yeah.
Yeah, especially like reps, right? Like multiple of those.
Like 5 minutes rest between each one.
Yeah, so that's kind of the story of of us and how we met, and actually it was a great dynamic. I don't know, I can't speak for Bobby, but for me it was good to have someone to push you to train hard, because I think we probably both now as professionals, we've trained by ourselves and we kind of know how hard it is to do that. So to have like a really good training partner that can push you, like, if I was having an off day, Bobby was beating me in all those 350s, right? Like it was like a legitimate thing. So, and we kind of went back and forth, and, depends on the part of depends on where we were at in training and the part of the season. Like we'd be really, really competitive, which I think is probably probably number one factor on why we did so well, in high school track. And then as a team, right, we won 2 state titles. Our high school team, we had a great team. We had a lot of distance guys. Coach Keon coached a lot of great guys. Coach O'Neill had, all of the sprinters pretty ready to go as well. So we won state as a team, right? Your freshman year and junior year.
I think junior. You forgot Cole. We had Cole Walsh too. A lot of people if you know track and you follow track, Cole Walsh, he was a pole vaulter at Oregon. He also was on our high school track team. Which like I think the 3 of us together, because Cole was jumping 17 feet in high school.
High 16. I mean, he won state, so
yeah. Because like Devon won the 110s, I got second. Then Devon won 300s, I got second. And then we I think we won the 4x1, and then
Cole won the pole vault.
Cole won the pole vault.
I got second in the 100 and 200.
I think me and Devon like exclusively almost scored 50 something points together, and then Cole scored a bunch. We had some distance guys, so we won with like 6 people, which was kind of cool.
Yeah, no, so that was a great experience. And then the opportunity arose for us to go to college, right? I mean, let's back up. So I broke the state record in the 300 hurdles my junior year in high school, and I ran like 36.3 or 36.4. I can't remember exactly.
36.38.
36.38. There we go. And so Bobby, the next year when I was a senior, when I left, broke the state record and ran 36.2.
Yeah, 36.24.
Yeah, 36.24. So actually, Brophy, our high school team, owned the 300 meter hurdle state record for probably over 15 years. It's still there, but maybe over 20 years now, because we have had 4 athletes at just that one school: Ray Polk, Harry Danilevix, me, and then now Bobby, who currently still has it, which is pretty cool. I mean, it's pretty cool dynasty, of sprint hurdlers, especially in the 300 hurdles in Arizona, and then. Actually, I own the state record still on the 110s. That's probably not going to get broken for a while, but it's very cool that we had that opportunity. We had some good athletes at Brophy. Our coach, Tim O'Neill, did a great job and does a great job with the high school kids and kind of prepping, and finding some athletes that are going to be good at those events, because, we both started as sprinters, and, a sprinter never wants to hear themselves like, hey, I'm going to be a hurdler, right? Like, you just want to be a sprinter. Like, I'm a 100-meter guy. I'm a 200-meter guy. And Tim kind of came to us and was like, hey, like, you guys are pretty good. Yeah, at the sprints, you're going to do well, but I think you can win the hurdles, right? And that's pretty much what he said.
I think he straight up told me. I remember I came up to him like sophomore year, and this was right before Chandler Rotary, and I was like, Coach, I want to run in college. Like, I want to be a collegiate athlete. And he was like, yeah, you're not going to be a college sprinter. I'm just telling you right now, like at a high level. Cause at that time I was running I was still running fast for Arizona, but I mean,
yeah, you were running like 22 low, 21 high.
Yeah.
Probably,
Yeah.
Right. Your sophomore year.
10.8 my sophomore year, 21, like 21.6 or something like that. So like fast for a high schooler, but not like good, like great.
Like blazing the setting the world on fire.
It was like, you should run the hurdles. Guys, I'm built like a UPS box. I'm like a short, stocky kid. So like, I'm not that tall. So Tim was like, you should run the hurdles. You should run the 300 hurdles because I got to be tough because like I'm not built like a tremendous athlete. So I've got to be tough. So like Tim was like, oh, you'd be great at the hurdles because I like my thing. Like I was always falling in high school because I just had no chill. Like I would just run as hard as I could. And like if I just like smash through hurdles, break hurdles, I'd fall all over the place. I just wanted to run so fast. So Tim had me run the hurdles against Devon. That was at the Chandler Rotary. We had some guys in that heat too. Like a lot of people. I look back on that picture and like we had I forget his name. He played for the Giants for a little bit. Perkins.
Yeah.
His little brother now plays for the Rams.
Yeah, Paul Perkins.
Yeah, Paul played. So that was pretty cool. But yeah, so that was the first time I hurdled, and I only really hurdled, and this is like the honest truth, because I really just wanted to beat Devon. Like I didn't care about the hurdles. Like I really just wanted to race Devon. So then that kind of ended up being like my event, the 300 hurdles at that point. So that was cool.
Yeah, no, it's great. Bobby did a great job. Just being competitive. He always was super consistent. He was super consistent in college as well. And has done that and has had a little bit of a rocky start to his pro career. We want to talk about that a little bit because I know you competed for the U.S. At juniors or NACAC, right?
NACAC U23, yeah.
Yeah, at NACAC under 20s, and then now you're competing for Italy. Mm-hmm. Kind of tell me about that process. Tell me like what led to that and kind of how that's going right now.
Yeah, so my dad's family's Italian. And so for the longest time, it was a topic of conversation for me to transfer my allegiance and run for the Italian team. My dad had brought it up a lot, once I started getting to a point in track and field where I was hitting A standards every year. My dad was like, hey, it'd be awesome point of pride for you to run for Italy, for our family. So, and a lot of people like this, everyone's always like, your name's not Italian. So I just gotta like clear that up real quick. My dad was adopted because my Italian grandfather left my dad when he was 2 months old. So I have a fantastic grandpa, Charlie Grant, who was a U.S. Marine, but he adopted my dad from my Italian grandfather. So that my last name should actually be Bernardi, which kind of sounds cool, Bobby Bernardi. But
Yeah, Bobby Bernardi.
that's why whenever I go overseas and I'm like with everyone in Italy, they're like, "Your name's not Italian." I'm like, I know it's because my dad's adopted. But yeah, so it's point of pride for our family. My grandma's side of the family, the Barbettas, like that was a big thing for them. We still have family. The Bernardis and Barbettas are still in Premier, Italy. It's a small town right below Switzerland. And so after I think it was like the 2018 US trials, I decided that I really wanted to compete for Italy. And I wanted to pursue that. So I kind of had to make a choice at that time because of the way that the rules were set up with World Athletics. Like you have to sit out a certain number of years. And so in 2019, I overcame a big injury. And I had a great year. I ran 48 seconds in the hurdles. I split 44-1 on the 4x400 meter relay at NCAAs. And so there were some people trying to pull me to the US trials to try and compete for that spot on the world team, which I, to this day, really feel like I would have gotten a spot on the team. But for me, it was more than that. I wanted to compete for my family, and I wanted to see it through. Like I really wanted to see it through and compete for Italy. So, and I said no to the U.S. trials. I flew to Italy. I took a 36-hour trip to Italy to compete in Italian national championships, but my passport wasn't finalized yet. So I had to only run the prelims. So I flew 36 hours across the world just to run the prelims, just to basically show like, I really want to run for Italy. I really want to be a part of that history and legacy. They've had some great 400 meter hurdlers, Fabrizio Mori, Alessandro Sibilio right now. He's a tremendous 400 hurdler. Here in 47 seconds, he was in the Olympic final. So I wanted to be a part of that. And so I kind of basically said like, I'm going to sacrifice 3 years of not running for a national team, and I'm going to like put myself out there and try and run for a country that I really wanted to. So that's kind of the story behind that. And it's been awesome. I got to compete in European championships. I feel like I've let a lot of people in Italy down because I've been injured the last like 2.5 years, because I've had a foot injury that I got during COVID that has been a little bit of an issue, but we finally cleared it all up, which I can get into later. But that's something that really motivates me to keep going, because I put so much work and effort into this, and so did my family, and it's such a point of pride. So, I will put on the jersey again and compete for Italy, but it's just taking a little longer than I thought.
Yeah, I'm wearing Italian blue, but I'm wearing the
Yeah.
version. No, so yeah, let's chat about that a little bit. I know you mentioned some injury stuff. I know you're recovering from a foot injury, and you just started walking today, right, without a boot.
Yeah, I took the
So
boot off.
how's that recovery going? What's your timeline, and what are you thinking in terms of just like the next couple of years? I know there's a lot of opportunities for you to compete for Italy. I know maybe this year might be precedent because there's European champs and stuff like that. But next year there's another World Championships in 2023, and then the 2024 Olympics in Paris. So kind of tell us kind of what your plans are in terms of recovery and training and getting ready for those.
Yeah, so the injury that I had was a Liz Frank injury, or navicular, if people are familiar with that. Janet Brandini had the same injury. Bryce Deadman, who's one of my close friends from A&M, who's an Olympic gold medalist for USA 4x4, he had the same surgery. But it's a tricky bone because all your force goes through that bone when you're running and when you're hurdling. And so during COVID, when they shut the facilities down, shut therapy down, I got a stress reaction in that bone. I didn't break anything, but it just flared up. So I had to take the summer off. I wasn't able to really compete. Even there was some competitions for the COVID year, and then last year, instead of doing surgery, because it was an Olympic year, I let it heal and I pushed through it. But it ended up actually turning into a stress fracture. I didn't give it enough time to heal. I still tried to run on it while it was broken. I went out to Italy and ran on it while it was like very broken, I'm an idiot. So that's on the brand for me. Uh, but I came back this year. I thought everything was really great. Training was going well, and I didn't hurt it again. But I wasn't able to train and compete the way I wanted to. Like I would hurdle, and then I'd need like 2 days to like let the inflammation go down because I had so much trauma in that bone from the 2 years prior, just pushing it too hard. Um, and so basically, my doctor was like, "Hey, like, what's the ultimate goal?" And I was like, "Well, I want to be an Olympian. Like, that's the ultimate goal. It's always been my goal since I was a kid." So he was like, "What we should do is we should put some pins in it because it's not strong enough right now to for you to train the way you want to." So I decided to have pins put in it and shut my season down, even though I was in great shape and I was ready to go. It was more of just like it was an executive decision to kind of like it was a short-term loss for a long-term gain, essentially. So uh, the goal now is to take the summer, get really strong, get kind of back to where I need to be training wise because I wasn't able to train. You could ask some of the guys like from A&M if you ever had them on, like Fred Curley, those guys. Like, I'm kind of a crazy person when I train. Like I run really hard. I like to train hard. I like to get after it. So I wasn't able to do that. So now I will be able to, and I will be able to run indoor and I will be able to do all these things. I just had to go through a little bit of sacrifice. So rehab this summer, get strong. The goal next year, there's a lot of European races. We have indoor Europeans next year. I think we have outdoor again. And then we have another worlds next year. And then the year after that's Olympics. So that's the 2 year goal for right now. Luckily, I'm really blessed to have Diodora, which I don't know if a lot of people are super familiar in the US with Diodora, but they're an Italian shoe company. They started off really making soccer cleats. And then now they're just a tremendous company. So they've been awesome with me too. They were really instrumental in me getting the surgery, very supportive of it. So, and I know track and field, it's such a like there's a lot of controversy around shoe companies and like sponsorships and all that stuff. And I don't know. I just feel like I can call the guys at Diodora on the phone and talk to them. Whereas like I feel like most shoe companies, you'd never even speak to the guy that's throwing like paying you or supporting you or things like that. But, so
Yeah.
for me, it's like it's cool that I can call them and like they're super supportive. So that's a big thing too. And I have a club in Italy as well, and the club president, all the athletes, like they track is different in Italy than it is the U.S., which was another reason why there's just so much purity and love for the sport. And I've had a lot of support from everybody over there too, which has been awesome because I've honestly been a disappointment because I was supposed to be this like guy coming in, be on the relay, run well on the hurdles, and I've just been hurt. So for them to still be like, "Hey, we believe in you, like get after it," that also is awesome too, which you don't see that too often in track because people just get forgotten so quickly. But yeah, so that's the goal for the next 2 years.
Nice, nice. And so when you talk about like kind of like the experience of being a pro, and navigating this the shoe endorsements, the contracts, and like prize money and stuff like that. We have a lot of different athletes on in terms of just the spectrum, right? We've had Fred Curley, which is probably going to be at the top end of the spectrum of
Yeah, I'd say so.
of yeah. I mean, just I no one knows because it's such a secret in the track world about like what people are making, right? Like so just give a little bit of insight. Like, so you have Diodora supporting you, and you said Italy also supports you to get to meet. So for the most part, though, you're pretty much working a full time job in order to train full time, in order to race as well.
Yeah, so I work for a company called Zscaler, and I work in sales, and it's a cybersecurity company. We sell cloud cybersecurity. So I could bore you with like
The details.
the nitty gritty, as Nacho Libre would say. But essentially, think of it as like as users move to a remote workforce. So like if Devon worked for Honeywell or Coca Cola or something, he's working from home. He's got to access all of his applications, which now, like, think of it as
Lives
like
on the
your
cloud.
email. Yeah, it's all in the cloud. Your internet like is technically the cloud. So your email is hosted in a cloud service. So in order to get to those applications, you have to go through the internet. There's a lot of threats now, especially with the Russian situation, things like that. So we sell a cloud native cybersecurity, and so I've been doing that for 10 months now. That's not what I did anything in school for. I did my business degree and then I did my master's in sports law and management. I wanted to be an agent, but then COVID happened, so there was no sports. But honestly, I've loved it. It's a great company. If there's any athletes out there that need a job, and they've been really awesome with me. They let me travel. I work from home. They let me train. So if you need a job, you can hit me up. Zscaler is a great company. But I would also recommend tech sales if you do need a job too. But free shout out, new sponsor.
Yeah. No, but no, Bob, you make a good point. It's always difficult. Oh, here's the video. Oh, here's our video right here.
Oh God. Yeah, so I'll just narrate it for you right here. So if you see, like, on the inside, there's a much better looking gentleman with white shoes on, and on the outside, there's kind of a chubby,
not a good looking,
mangly, not as good looking guy. A lot of people don't know this, but if Devon does not run or work out, he puts on weight. So he is lucky he had me in high school to run against him, because there was times where that we had a Michelin man on the track running around. But yeah, so I almost needed new shorts at this point, because I'd never run past Devon, and I was like, oh my God, I'm in front of Devon. And as you can see, I freaked out and I like totally choked that race, because when I got in front of Devon, I was like, it had never happened before. So I was like, oh crap, like I'm in front of Devon. And I remember thinking that in the race, like, I'm going to beat Devon. Like I just ran by him. And what I shouldn't have banked on was the fact that he wasn't going to 13 step the last 2 hurdles to run by me, because Devon, as like humble and like calm as he's being on that little screen right there, he never wants me to beat him ever in anything. We play Call of Duty together, and it's just like a mental barrage for 3 hours where he just yells at me. So like that calm demeanor of him being this host on his show, he is never going to let me win that race.
Oh, I can turn the switch on. I turn it on. That's what makes me a good athlete.
Devon, all right, I'll tell a story about Devon. We played football together in high school, and I played cornerback. I can't run backwards. Like, I just can't run backwards. I hit really hard. Like, I was a great running back, but they wanted me to play cornerback because I was fast. And I kept saying, like, I can't run backwards. I don't know why you want me to play cornerback. But we had a great running back, Marche Denard, and I can't catch. I just can't play receiver. So they were like, oh, we'll throw him at corner. They should have put me at safety, but I don't want to talk about that. But so I go up against Devon because everyone's like, oh, we'll just throw Bobby on Devon because Bobby's fast, Devon's fast. But like Devon is obviously he's playing for the Eagles, right? So like they just threw me out there. They threw me out there in the water. They put me in the deep end and just watched me drown. So I told Devon, I was a sophomore. I just got pulled to varsity. So like, I was a freshman at the time actually, and I just got pulled to varsity after freshman season. I was so happy, and I was like, I remember I went up to Devon. I was pressed. I was like man press, and then I was supposed to back off and then play zone. And I was like, hey, what route are you running? Because like I'm not going to do anything. I don't want to look really stupid the first time I'm guarding you. And Devon was like, yo, just shoot the gap. And he'll deny it to this day that he said that, but he said
this is not true at all.
Yes, it is. He goes, shoot the gap, basically saying like he was gonna run like an in, and so I would break on the ball. This guy runs a stop and go, so I go to break and I go break hard because I'm like, all right, I'm gonna just like get up on him. I won't intercept or anything because he threw me a bone, and like I'll be nice about it or whatever. And I break hard, and I'm coming downhill, and Devon just turns around and takes off behind me. And I'm getting like yelled at by all the cornerback coaches, and Coach Gallant's screaming at me. His veins are like coming all the way down, and like there's like smoke around him as he's screaming at me. And I'm just like, and Devon just walked up to me. He's like, that's how you kiss the baby. Or you said something like that. And he ran back to the huddle. I was like,
oh yeah. I see. Here's the thing. I don't believe in that first part. I don't think I told you to shoot the gap.
You did.
But I was a big Chad Johnson fan at the time. And so, like, get out there while I'm out there. You might as well kiss the baby was like my go-to. But yeah, I mean, I'm sure that happened, that route concept where I ran a slant and go and beat you. But you don't have to lie and say, like, I told you that to shoot the gap.
You verbatim. That's what you verbatim said to me. I'll never forget it. It's like burned into my brain because I remember being like, damn, that's my best friend. Just straight up just did me so dirty right there. Like I thought I was like, oh, he's being nice. Like, that's awesome. Because I remember Devon before the practice, he's like, I think you're going to be a big impact guy. Like, we really need you to play well, blah, blah, blah. Like, you can do it. Give me all the support. So I was like, yeah, maybe he's trying to, like, help me out. He just threw me out there. I was like, he just, like, beating a dead horse out there. Just ran. Of course, it wasn't like he ran, like, a post or something where I could recover. He ran a stop and go. So, like, when I break, and I don't know if you guys have seen Devon run, but he's quite fast. So to try and run him down, I would have to be, like, a thoroughbred, like, racehorse to get him down. So obviously I didn't start, if that's the moral of the story.
That's but the moral of the story is, anything goes on the football.
Moral of the story: shoot the gap.
Shoot the gap. Yeah, no, that's a good story. Yeah, I think you've probably told that story to 1,000 people, and I still don't believe it just because I don't remember saying that. But that's okay. I do want to get into a couple things. You just got a dog.
Yeah,
You
she's in the crate
just
right now because I was worried about her being all around.
became a dog dad. Kind of tell me about that. Like, what kind of dog do you have, and how's that experience so far?
Yeah, so I have a Rhodesian Ridgeback, which a lot of people don't really know about the breed because you don't see them a lot. But they're South African lion dogs. So like they used to breed them to like corral the lion while the hunters would get close enough to shoot it. So it had to be a dog that was strong enough and tall enough to run next to a horse because they would chase chase these lions on horseback, but also have to have like enough bravery to actually like corner one. So it's a mix of like mastiffs and Great Danes, and all these different breeds that like these super breeds of dogs they just put into one dog. And the cool thing is they're actually immune to bug bites. So like she can't get bit by mosquitoes or like any of that, which is really cool. I didn't know that until I read a book about it. But she's super calm. They're super loyal dogs.
Ooh,
Yeah, see, my dog will be
170.
175 pounds, but her dad was 170 Russian import, and she's a beautiful dog. She's great. She's already potty trained, but yeah, she's fantastic. We're gonna go on a lot of runs this summer while I rehab, but they're beautiful dogs. But yeah, I'm a new dog dad, so if there's anyone that wants to be a dog mom, I can make great
Hit,
food,
hit,
and
hit
I
him
have
up.
so
No, that's good. No, that's good. One other thing I wanted to talk about, and this has kind of been a topic of discussion on me and Clayton's podcast last year when we did it a little bit. Me and Clayton do it a lot. Is golf. You know, tell me a little bit about the golf game. Tell me a little bit about what makes you an amazing athlete and an amazing golfer. Like you always say you would kill me. We have yet to
Devin.
play.
Okay, everybody's watching the show, right? Like Devin's a confident guy. I've been playing golf since I was 5 years old, right? It's like my dad would take me to golf, my uncle would take me to golf. I've been golfing since I was 5 years old. Devin picks up the golf clubs when he's 27 years old. He's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna be a world class. Like Devin's a world class athlete, but like there's a difference between years of experience and like a couple of months. So Devin's out here like DM me on Twitter or DM me on Instagram when I post picture me golfing. He's like, oh, I bet you shot over or whatever. When I'm dropping like 78s to 80s on a bad day. So, we haven't played yet, but I think we put some money on it when we do play though. But yeah, I don't know. I haven't been able to golf though for 2 months because of my foot. So right now I'm probably I'm pretty garbage.
You,
But
you know
the
what I should do is bring the clubs to bring them to Eugene. Have a couple days light
this
while I'm there
is
for
this picture
USA's.
behind you? Is this picture behind us the high school track in Eugene?
Yeah, that's South Eugene. Yep.
Yeah, yeah, I recognize that from the Olympic trials in 2016. But yeah, see, that's Devin. Devin is the angry Happy Gilmore, and I'm the one that's like at peace. Like it's all in the hips. Me and Bubba are one.
Get
So
loosey, get loosey
Devin's the
goosey.
one that's like jumping in the water after his ball and fighting alligators. But that's not me.
Fair enough. Well, we'll have to play. Hopefully we can get this fanfest.io like a live stream. Get like a whole. Did you watch the match this last weekend?
Yeah, yeah. And did you watch the Phil Mickelson? Not Phil Mickelson, excuse me. Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers against.
That's what I just said. The match.
Yeah, you said the Masters.
Oh no, the match. Sorry,
Yeah,
the match.
yeah. I watched the match.
Yeah, so that'll be us, me and Bobby, the match remake, stream live right here on fanfest.io.
Who would your teammate be? We could do teams.
My teammate. Ooh, I gotta find a good golfer.
I'll take like Donovan Brazier in golf. I'll take Donovan Brazier. I'll still beat you.
All right, fair enough. Shoot, I guess me and Clayton match. Are we gonna play a little scramble action? Or are we playing best ball, drive, and then
We can play
your own
scramble.
balls? We can play this. Okay, yeah. Me and Clayton would do well then there because I got the clutch gene for sure. Yeah, no, that's great. So the golf thing is why do you think athletes love golf so much?
Because it's hard. It's a hard sport to master. Like it's not. If you've ever been golfing, you go out there. There's days where you'll be like on, and your shots will be great. The ball's going straight. Putts are hitting the hole. Everything's fantastic. And then you have a day where you go out there and like nothing's working, and it's a mental game. So you have to be able to like go up to a tee box, shank one 350 feet to the right, have everyone laugh at you, and then like be able to recover on the next hole and keep your game going, which is why golf is such an impressive sport to me, because you have to be so mentally tough. I think golf and track are very similar sports, to where, minus the fact that there's way more money in golf. You have to be mentally like prepared to go into those races. A lot of those golfers are like, they visualize their success, like they know what they're doing. They go out there. Track athletes, Devon will tell you, like he always thinks he's going to win. I've never Fred. If you ever talk to Fred used to listen to "I Am the Champion" or like "We're the Champion" when he was at JUCO. Dream Richards actually told me the story, but Fred used to wake up every day because they were roommates, and he would play "We're the Champion," but he would sing "I Am the Champion" every day when he would listen to the song. So like you have to be like super confident in yourself like that to be a golfer as well, because there's a lot of money on the line. And I think athletes just like golf because it's hard, and you have to like mentally overcome obstacles.
That's a good insight. I agree with you completely, and that kind of leads us into my next question. Is we like to ask the athletes on here what it takes to be the greatest. What it takes to be a great athlete for one, and then like a great track athlete.
I think I'm sure this is like just beating a dead horse, but the little things, right? So discipline and the little things are important. I've never been the best athlete anywhere I've ever been. Not when I was in high school, because I had you there. Even when I was doing really well, a lot of people also haven't heard this before, but Isaiah Oliver plays cornerback for the Atlanta Falcons. Yeah. He was a year below me. So, and he's a fantastic athlete. He's tall. He's one of the best athletes I've ever been. Devon and Isaiah being like smushed between the two of them was like a true blessing for me, because they're just two fantastic, phenomenal athletes. I don't have one athlete in my family besides my grandfather who played college football on my mom's side. But it was a small school. My mom was a swimmer. My dad said that I got my ability to run from him from when he was young, running from certain people. and so, but he never did that on like a grand stage. My brother was a tremendous baseball player. Both my sisters ran track. But there was never like a fantastic athlete. Devon's dad played baseball at Ohio State, and I think he played professional for a little bit as well.
Yeah, he played in the minors for.
Yeah, Isaiah's dad was an NFL athlete, played for the Dolphins, played for the Reds. The
decathlete at Oregon as well.
Yeah, decathlete at Oregon. So I've never been the best athlete anywhere I've ever been, but I work really hard. So the thing that always like separated me from, I think, other people in certain instances, was the fact that I would do anything when it comes to working hard to get to where I need to go. I'd wake up early. I'd be there first. I'd leave late. You just have to be really committed. If you want to be a tremendous athlete, you have to make that commitment. So you have to eat healthy. You have to sleep. You have to do what you're supposed to do to be a good athlete. And so those are the little things. Kobe Bryant talks a lot about the dream. Like everyone always asks him, like, you lived the dream. Like you won championships and all that stuff. And I don't know how Devon feels about this, but in my personal opinion, winning is great and it's fantastic. But the dream is that the day-to-day. I wouldn't be doing this if I didn't really love it, because that's what the dream is. The dream is that I get to wake up and I still get to be an athlete. Even though my foot's all jacked up right now and I'm trying to get, back to a high level, I get to wake up every day and work hard. And that's the little things. So you have to focus on the little things, and you have to be disciplined, because your motivation is going to leave you. It's going to happen. I know Devon will probably say that he's always been motivated, but I know for a fact there's times where Devon's been like not as motivated, and I've had the same thing. And that's when discipline takes over and you do those little things the right way, and then you can become a champion. So I learned a lot of that from watching Devon and other guys. And then a big part about being a great athlete too is like having fun. I think that's like the number two outside of discipline and the little things is having fun. Because what's the point? Like when people are stressing out for races or I'm like, what's the point? Like why do you just worked so hard for months? Like why now be all scared and nervous? Like just go have fun. You've done all the preparation. This is the whole point, is to get to this point. And if you watch Devon compete, like he's always dancing or doing something, he's just having fun. And you'll see like that's I think why he really wins is because he's having more fun than other people. There are athletes that I mean, not every athlete can do that. But for me, getting to watch him in high school, because he did that in high school too, like he'd be dancing after and before races and stuff. I remember one time he didn't even stretch for a race. And I was like, why don't you stretch? And Devon's answer to me was, have you ever seen a cheetah stretch before it kills its prey? And I was like, no. And he's like, exactly. So like Devon was just always having fun, which I think translated well to when he competes. Like when he got signed by the Eagles, he called me to tell me, and I was so happy for him, obviously. And when because everyone always calls me to ask about Devon because they know I get all the inside information. And when everyone's like, do you think he's going to make it? Do you think he's going to make it? My answer to them is I truly believe he'll make it because he always finds a way, but he's going to do it just because he has fun with whatever he does. So those are my three things I'd say. One, discipline. Two, the little things, and then three, having fun.
I love it. That's a great answer, and it's funny that you say the discipline thing, and the story about you being disciplined is, for a time in college, you said you had to eat like a chicken salad every day. Like that was just your like.
Listen,
you were locked in.
If you when you move, right, you buy U-Haul boxes. All right, that's me, right? I'm a U-Haul box. Like I've got wide shoulders and I've got I'm just a box. So if I just eat whatever I want and do whatever I want and go party and all that stuff, I'm not going to be a box. I'm going to look like the Pillsbury Doughboy,
the U-Haul van.
Yeah. Like I'm going to have a dumpy and
damn, that boy thick.
Yeah. So like it's just. For me, I've got to eat healthy. I remember I was at the Olympic trials with Devon, and I was having a salad, and Devon was eating like chips and salsa. He had a margarita, and he was eating tacos. And I was like, dude, how are you going to even do that and then compete in 2 days? And I did learn a little bit of balance. I'll admit I was a little bit of a freak. Like I was always eating the same meals. But yeah, that was funny. So yeah, I used to have a chicken salad every night for dinner because I was trying to be like a lean, mean machine.
Hey, that's okay. I mean,
dude, you got to run with Fred Curley and Deion Lindor every day in practice. Are you kidding me? Like those guys are 6 foot.
Do it.
Yeah, those guys are like 6'5". That those are like racehorses, and I got to walk out there. Like first of all, it's so embarrassing the pictures that Coach Henry chooses for all of our relay pictures because I look like I should be starring in The Hobbit, not being on the track poster because we've got Devin Dixon who's 6'4", Malik Curley who was 6'4". And Alolo Izu, who's like 6'2", and I'm standing there at a sweet 5'11" on a good day with some nice shoes on, and so I'm just like way shorter than everybody. So yeah, that's why I have to eat healthy.
That's good. No, that's smart, and having a little bit of like the discipline part is what plays into that. Not necessarily being crazy, but being consistent, right? Like you don't have to eat a chicken salad every day if you like are eating pretty healthy your other meals, right?
Yeah, I had a whole mess of crumble cookies the other day, but I'll balance it out with a nice salad.
Oh, like today, like my diet was pretty good today. I had like a nice breakfast, a little protein shake, some fruit, a couple eggs, some bacon, and then for lunch I just had like 6 peanut butter cups. Right, but that was post training, and then dinner I had a really healthy dinner. Right, so I'm back on the ball. I just Bobby called me about like 20 minutes before we hopped on here, and I was eating like frozen berries and some Greek yogurt for dessert, right? Which is like maybe I should have eaten that for lunch and had the peanut butter cups for dessert, but hey, that's how we do it. But yeah, no, that's great insight, and I think it's important to, as an athlete, and especially like younger athletes. I have a lot of young athletes reach out to me and ask me for advice and do this stuff, and it's all about having fun at this level, especially, and it's hard to win. I talked to Jamal Brett, who's a up and coming hurdler in the U.S. He actually just won his first competition in Europe a few days ago, and that's a big deal because as a pro, I know because I didn't win my first Diamond League until last year. It's hard to win meets, even if they're even if it's not a Diamond League. It's hard to win Mount Sac. It's hard to win the pin relays. It's hard to do all that stuff. So you got to enjoy it and have fun while you can because this sport is great. It takes you to a lot of cool places. Bobby's been all over Italy. He's learning Italian. I've been all over the world and stuff like that as well. So it's pretty amazing. But yeah, so Bobby, Yeah, exactly. Yeah, ups and downs in the sport, and that's kind of the training. The training aspects is we push our bodies so hard that we have some digression with injuries and stuff like that. I mean, me and Bobby are probably like the poster boys on being injured and recovering. So
Yeah.
we've done a good job, and I think the mindset that we have is what's probably the biggest reason we've done well and continue to do well even with injuries and stuff like that. But yeah, we got one more question for you before we leave. It's getting late
And I
here
got
on
a
the East
question for
Coast.
you before I go.
Okay, no, go ahead,
So
and
do
ask
you
it.
think that Phil Knight personally pays for Oregon to get the NCAA championships all the time, or do you think that that's just like because you went to the University of Nike, right?
What's your question?
That was my question. Why do you think that Oregon gets like? I get it, you have a nice track, but it's 40 degrees and raining and cold all the time. When we had it in Austin, listen, I'm an Aggie, right? I don't like the University of Texas, but that track meet that they put on in Austin that year, it was fantastic. It was hot, but that was a fast year, right? You could argue that it should not be in Oregon every year.
I'm not going to argue that it should or shouldn't. What I will say is it did rain in Austin the year. It was just hotter.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly. At least it's hot.
this whole week, what do we got in Eugene, Oregon? 73, 74, 81, 75, 71, 66. All
Yeah,
right,
well,
so
watch.
we got
Watch. No, watch. It'll in the middle of the day. It'll start pouring rain. It'll drop to like 35 degrees. There
we
might
we
be
got a little
some.
we got a little bit of rain on Sunday. Okay, I got that. Yeah, like for the finals day for the women, we'll have some rain. But you know what? Eugene gets a bad rep. Remember, Bobby, and here's something too that you have to tell the fans is you went to the University of Miami, and I remember talking to you a couple times a week, and you're like, dude, it's freaking raining here again. You
Yeah,
said
well,
it
because
always rained in Miami. You didn't know that.
but no, you have to hold on. You have to preface this. We in Arizona, there's 300 and whatever days in a year, 365 days in a year. There's like 338 days of sunshine in Arizona. So like you have almost the whole year where you don't have a cloud in the sky. So then I go to Miami where at every day at 3 p.m. it rains. So I'm like calling Devon. I'm like, dude, it's raining again. It's raining again. Like, and so for me, that was a new thing. But it rains a lot in Texas too. Like, it rained a lot in College Station. College Station is just probably much prettier than Eugene. Probably better education too in that realm.
You love A&M. All right, I'm looking up the average participation. All right, so Miami gets 61 inches a year, and Eugene, Oregon gets 40
I know,
inches a
but okay,
year.
but I only was in Miami for a year. Then I went to Texas A&M and lived in College Station. Gig 'em.
Okay, so you had no rain. All right, fair enough. So let's just say, to answer your question, University of Oregon is a great track and field facility. I think it gives the athletes a great opportunity to compete at a state of the art facility and have a state of the art experience in terms of just doing that. I mean, you just got to be realistic. That stadium is the best stadium in the U.S., probably in the world. So a lot of those athletes outside of their college careers will be the end of their track careers. So it gives them a cool opportunity to compete at a venue like that, right? Like, not that Texas isn't cool, not that A&M's not cool, not that Sac State isn't cool,
I could
but
argue that A&M had the best indoor facility in the country based off of the performances, but we didn't host the NCAA's every year.
that's because Henry doesn't want to do all the work.
Yes, he
No
does. He
offense.
loves
No,
Coach
no
Henry loves
offense.
hosting meets. Okay, we'll have to get into a different question because we'll start arguing.
No. All right. So to end the day, and thanks for being on. We always end with our guests answering one question, and it's called "What were you thinking?" The name of the show. I want to get your mindset to what were you thinking. What do you think about in a big race? It could be the SEC finals, NCAA finals, the Olympic trials, or even the Italian champs, stuff like that. What's your mindset going into a big race?
Uh, Honestly, I truly believe that champions think less. So I try not to think too much. Right, like I'll meditate the day of my race, try and get a clear mind, see myself doing exactly what I've been doing in practice, what I want to do in the meet. But honestly, going into the race, like I kind of just joke with myself in my head about things that are happening in real time to just kind of like keep it light and have fun. Um, like I'm anybody that's ever competing against me, I'm always usually smiling before I get to run because I just love it. So I think usually what I'm thinking of is the food I'm going to get to eat after I'm done running. So like what cookies I'm going to get or something like that. But I try to just have a clear mind, just tell myself that I'm doing this because I love it. And I think of just three things. I'll give myself three things to focus on, like get out hard, push on the turn, and finish strong. And those are the three things that I'll focus on. And I won't think of anything else. Because I think if you just get two in your head, it creates a lot of issues. So yeah, that's what I think about.
That's a great answer, and I agree with you on the kind of clearing your mind. Like my best races, people always like, how'd you feel during that race? And it's like I blacked out. Like I don't remember the race at all. I just remember going through the line. That's it. The gun goes off and the race is over.
Yeah,
it might be it might be hard for the 400 hurdles because it takes 50 seconds or 48.
That's what it takes
40.
a true man to run the 400 hurdles. That's why you run the 110s. I do think Devon could be a good 400 hurdle if he tried. I'm really glad Grant Holloway doesn't run the 400 hurdles. That's for sure.
Hey, you know what? Can't be great at everything, and the 400 hurdles is definitely a hard event. Definitely very, very hard to train for as well. I mean, I've trained for the 300 hurdles. I've trained for the 400. I kind of understand what it takes to do that, and something that I don't really want to do anymore as a professional. So
yeah, but
as a pro, I can decide.
You could be good at it. Yeah, you could. You for sure. I think Devon could be running 47 seconds in the hurdle if he really tried.
Well, 47 seconds doesn't get you much nowadays. Doesn't get you much nowadays.
Oh yeah, 47 will get you a high five and a piece of pizza now.
Yeah, exactly. It's tough world out here.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, Bobby. Well, thanks for being on the show. I don't want to keep you too much longer. I'm going to let you go off, and I'm going to do a little bit of a wrap up, but we appreciate you for being on. Go ahead and give everybody your social media plugs so they can follow you or keep up with you.
Yeah, you can find me on Instagram, OG_Bobby_Grant. And then my Twitter is just Bob Grant 21. Mostly dog pictures and me just trying to be funny usually, but I'm not that funny, so it doesn't work out often. But yeah, give me a follow.
Perfect. All right, Bobby. Thanks for being on.
Thanks, Devon.
Peace.
See you guys.
All right, guys. That was great. It's always great to talk to Bobby. Me and him actually talk very, very often, probably a few times a week. And, he's always – his personality is so great in terms of a competitor and being a good athlete. He's so locked in, and he understands what it takes to be good at something. And he's very motivated, and something that's inspiring to me as well as an athlete is like, hey, like this guy's going through a lot as well, right? With his foot, he's been dealing with that foot thing for 2 years. We've talked about that on and off, and, just his motivation to have the surgery and get back on it and decide to run for Italy. It takes a lot of guts. So it's very cool to have him on. And, me and him have been close friends for 15 years now, 14 years, which is great. And I wish nothing but the best. But if you guys enjoyed that show, please continue to follow us. We're going to have lots of great athletes like Bobby in the future. You can follow us on Twitter at World's Greatest without the vowels. That's WRLDSGRTST. World's Greatest Team on Instagram, www.com, YouTube /World's Greatest. Also check us out here at fanfest.io /World Greatest without the vowels. And I'm your host for today, Devon Allen. If you want to follow me on the social medias, I'm just Devon with an O, Allen 13 on Instagram and Twitter. So yeah, but thanks for tuning in, guys, and we'll catch you next time.